This is a message for all my future collaborators. If you get through all of this video and you vibe with every single thing I say, then you're my people and I can't wait to work with you. So the first thing is that I am a Black woman. Not only am I a Black woman, but I am an African woman. Not only am I an African woman, I'm a Zambian woman. Not only am I Zambian, I am Tonga, I am Ila, and I am Lozi. Kinamulozi. Nah. And I think it's like my favorite thing about myself. Not that I think, I'm sure it is. Who I am, what my cultural heritage is, my ancestry, it is my power, it is my privilege to sit in this body and stand on the shoulders that I stand on. And my intention is to enter every room and really honor the excellence of my lineage with the way that I show up. And honor with integrity. And that doesn't mean, it's not so much about like, don't embarrass your ancestors, even though, I mean, I try not to, but I actually don't think that I could do that if my intention is right. Like, even in my mistakes, even in my misgivings, even in my low vibrational moments, like, it's not really about holding myself to an idea of Black excellence that has sometimes a rigidity, but what I'm trying to get across is that, like, I am a Black woman. I'm so proud of who and where I come from, and I want to honor the fullness of that in every room that I step into. And what that means is, as a creator, especially as an actor and a writer, I'm going to bring the fullness of that experience into literally everything that I do. I cannot un-Black or un-woman myself for anything, anyone, any job, any role. That does not mean that I can't write and explore and help to make stories about other experiences. But what I'm saying is, it is a non-negotiable for me that the people who work with me understand that I am the representation of so many people who came before me, who helped to shape this particular identity and this body and these spatial features and this skin color that affects the way that I walk through the world. So all of the information that I have garnered from walking through the world, having this my grandfather's eyes and this my grand auntie's nose, and do you understand? Like, all of that information that has affected every single moment of my life is coming into the room with me. And we are all doing that all the time. What I'm saying though is, like, I'm doing it on fucking purpose. And it's a privilege to do that. My definition of exploitation is any time that someone's full intelligence and experience is not welcome into the room. So if you want me just because of the way I look, but you don't want the way I think, you're not my people. If you want me because you know that I can cry on cue because period, but you don't want to honor the process that I need in order to get there safely, you're not my people. It's either all of me or none of me. I think all of me is great, but it's only going to be great for you if you are my people, and it's okay if you're not. But I'm making this video because I'm setting the intention to, like, find my next wave of people. So yes, I'm a Black woman and I own that, and I love that for me. I love that for me. When it comes to everything, but I'm going to use acting specifically to be really clear about this point. Do not hire me to be in your film or your show and play a white woman. Do not hire me to play a white woman. I am not a white woman. I do not want to be a white woman. I do not want to tell stories through the lens as if I was a white woman, because I'm not that, because I didn't incarnate into this life as a white woman. That is not my assignment. I have chosen sisters who are white women, who have incarnated in those bodies to have those experiences, to tell stories from that lens, and that is in full alignment and integration with their purpose and their assignments, and I love them and I'm obsessed with them, but I'm not a white woman. I'm a Black woman. So I have chosen to come in as a Black woman, and that's my assignment. So do not put me in a piece and direct me as if I am a white woman. I'm not. And I don't want to be. And I say that with love for everybody, but especially love for myself. You can't erase any part of me if you want me to come and embody a character. If the ask is for me to come in and embody the character, let me embody the character. And if you don't like the way my full embodiment shows up in the character, then I'm not the actor you need to be working with, and that's also totally fine. It's okay if I'm not for everybody, and it's okay if I'm not for you, but the people who are my people, they'll know this one, when we invite her, she's coming with her full self. And if you're my people, you will understand the ways in which that is a gift for you, that is a privilege, that is not only my responsibility. You will understand that it is painful for me when I cannot or do not do that. It is excruciating for me when I am asked to enter a room not with my full self, my full magic, my full joy, my full exuberance, my full pain. It is excruciating in a very specific way to be asked to enter into a room and only bring a part of myself. If you're my people, you know that. And if you're my people, you understand that that is the exact same expectation and space and love that I'm holding for you. It goes both ways. If you're my people, you're gonna understand and appreciate that, like, when you and I are in the room together, I'm expecting the full experience of your integrity, your ancestry, your intelligence, the way that you walk through the world and how that informs you, how that challenges you, how that inspires you, what's challenging about that, what's easy about that, where your blind spots are about that, what your questions are, what your privileges are, what your privileges aren't. Whatever it is that is the truth of your experience, I'm inviting that too. So I am not asking for anything that I'm not giving other people the space to do. I'm going to try really hard in this video not to over explain certain concepts, because it's like you either get it or you don't get it. But I'm a Black woman. I love that for me. And I love whoever you are for you, and I want to meet the truth of that. And if you try to bring me into your project or work with me and you only want a piece of me, you are endeavoring to exploit me. And if you meet me and instead of meeting me, allowing our auras and our energies to meet and to suss each other out and see if there is a genuine natural resonance, you're my people. Like, if we just meet each other and we're not even trying to do nothing yet, but we're just vibing, you're probably my people. When I say if you meet me, I mean like if you meet me and we're just there experiencing the energy of each other's energy with no agenda. And after that no agenda-ness, there's a different place in which the energy drops in and we go, ooh, maybe you. Yeah, there's a good chance that you're my people. As opposed to if you meet me and instead of just like letting my energy meet your energy, even sometimes without words, but instead you're searching through my eyes or searching through my energy and my body and what you feel like I've done or what you feel like I can do for you so that you can get to where you need to go next. Fuck you and fuck your ego. I don't want that. I'm not here to be used. And even if we were to go down a path where we work together, you can't use me. My ancestors literally will not let me do that. My ancestors will shut me down and I won't be able to do the job properly. So like, let's just not waste time. If that's who you are, just go away. It's not going to work. And we're gonna fight and it's not even gonna be productive. Like, it's not gonna be nice for either of us. So like, let's just move on from each other if we're not each other's people. you can't exploit me. You can try. And you will get, I'm not saying you won't get anywhere. You will be able to use the power and the light I have if I am in the project. It's going to give you mileage to a certain extent, but it's nothing close to the mileage that I'm actually capable of when we are in alignment. Will I still look good on the poster? Yes. But like, in terms of like what that piece of art can do, if I'm tapped in and I'm tapped in, and my spiritual team and my ancestors are like, yes. And I have the intelligence, the strength, the mysticism, the power of everyone I came from. Just imagine that strength. And I'm opening up to that on purpose. And they're not just, are they letting me do it? They're like, perfect, next assignment, because we chose this for you. If that is everything that's happening here, and that's everything that's also going to be happening in your own right for you, and also for all the other people we have on our team, what can we do in this world? Do you understand what we can do in these spaces when we are all tapped in and like moving with integrity and not asking each other to be what we're not, and not forcing things when they're not supposed to work? Meaning finding the right collaborators where there is that resonance so we can actually achieve a common goal together, versus being in rooms where people have very different intentions. People's souls are doing very different things, and we're forcing and trying to like force each other to resonate in ways that we don't. Similarly, like I have to be accountable to this as well. So this is learning for me. Like I also can't expect people who don't think and vibrate and just like, what I'm saying, you either get it or you don't get it. And I'm not mad at you anymore if you don't get it. Like you either get it or you don't get it. And so what I'm trying to express is that like my recent learning is that I need to not be upset at people who aren't getting it because they're not getting it because they're not supposed to get it. It's not even necessarily a commentary on them, because who knows what their own path is and what their assignment is. Like, it's really not for me to judge. I do be getting upset sometimes. Sometimes I do be judging because I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? But real talk. Whew. I just wanted to get really petty there. But like, real talk, I think that all I need to do is remember that like I'm not the only person who thinks like this. I'm not the only person who knows that theater can heal our country, our communities, our world. That stories make the world go round. That stories come from our ancestors and God and source, or whatever it is that you want to call it. And that there is something really special about sharing stories with real integrity and truth, with the intention of connection, with the intention of service. That to me is a very different intention than I want to serve my career. I want to be rich. I don't think that those things have to not be connected to service. I'm not saying that in order to choose a practice that honors humility and doing something for the greater good, I'm not saying that that can't and should not make you rich or further your career. That's what I believe, and that's why I'm working like this. But what I'm saying is that the intention is different. And if you're my people, you understand that we are not here to serve our own egos as much as we are to serve the story. If you're my people and we're coming together on a script, the best idea wins, and the best idea is really determined by what is in highest resonance with the script. And the authority that is going to let us know what idea is in highest resonance with the script is often the script itself. If you're my people, and let's say we are working on a film or a theater piece, we are working on something with a script. We understand that that script and that project as a whole has its own purpose, its own mission, and its own soul. Just like you and I came here to do something, and we might not fully always be able to articulate exactly what that was, but we have a sense of the direction we need to go. And the reason that I know that we all have that is that we feel things. So there's certain things to us that feel nice and feel right and feel easy, and there's certain things that feel wrong and feel gross and we feel upset afterwards. And having these different reactions to these different things, if you just line up all of the things that make you feel nice versus all of the things that make you feel not nice, looking at that nice list and what those experiences have in common will give you a lot of information about what your path wants to be, right? I believe that every project itself has its own soul. I don't know if it was Michelangelo, one of these European artist guys, who has that beautiful adage about the statue in the sculpture. Wow, that was great use of language. Let me try that again. Basically, that like the sculpture already exists. He's just revealing it from the stone. And there's something about the thing already existing and being bigger than us that if you're my people, you understand. You totally understand. You do, you understand. You know. Slide in my DMs. Let's make a movie. Why are you wasting time? Why are you wasting time? This is how you think. Slide in my DMs. Let's make a movie. Yeah. If you're my people, you know that, and you've always known that, whether you've come to articulate that recently for yourself, kind of in those terms or similar terms, or if you just intuitively know it, like you understand that we're serving something larger, and you understand that like if we can tune into the right vibration of the story and what the offering is that wants to be birthed through us, that it'll lead us exactly where it needs to go. That we are simply vessels and we are here in service of it. And through being in service to this creation, we are being in service to our community and to humanity, and that we might not fully know what the impact is supposed to be. Like, it might not even fully happen in our lifetime, but we all have this collective understanding because we're feeling that intuitive nudge, like, yes, this way, not this way. Because we all have that instinct in us, every single one of us. If you're my people, you have been practicing that instinct. Ooh, you've been practicing. If you're my people, you're in a space right now where you're like, my gut. Actually, my gut actually always knew. Like, if you're my people, you're in that intuitive, you know. If you're my people, you're in a chapter of like really learning to trust yourself. If you're my people, you're really like, damn, I'm smart. I'm really smart. I am really, really smart. If you're my people, you are in ownership of what it is that you're good at. And you don't have to express it the way that I do. I personally sometimes like to express it by saying, I'm about to win a Golden Globe, and also just being like, do you know I'm smart, to literally anybody who will listen. I think I said to my friend yesterday, I'm like, I'm funny and I'm smart. And she was like, yes. But if you're my people, you know what you're good at. You know exactly what the fuck you're good at. You know. I know that we are doing Canadian politeness. Oh, Western. Oh no, don't say you're beautiful. I'm beautiful, ho. So are you. And I'm not saying that you have to. There's things that I'm good at that I don't know that I'm good at. There's things that my, friends and collaborators are good at, sometimes that they don't know that they're good at. But what I'm trying to say is that if you're my people, you have a pretty good sense of your strengths, to the point that if somebody even points out to you a thing that you are good at that you didn't know that you were good at, you go, oh. There's a part of you that can kind of receive that a little bit, or just sort of hold that, even if it's new information. Even if it's like a little bit shy and uncomfortable to be like, did I do that? Am I that good at that? But there is something within you. There is a sort of guidance system. There's something inside that resonates and goes, oh, okay, yeah, I think there's some truth there. Or not. If you're my people, you're addicted to the truth. So much so that you get tired of yourself sometimes. And I say addicted like not even in a romantic sense. Like an addiction can be painful. An addiction is painful. And I think that the truth is good, but it's not easy. It's not simple. There's a reason so many people shy away from it and twist it and dishonor it. The truth is very, very uncomfortable. But if you're my people, you're addicted to it. If you're my people, the older you get, the stronger your bullshit meter gets, and you have no time, you have no desire to lean into spaces that are not leaning into and exploring and expressing truth to the best of their ability. There are things that you know are true, very, very true, that you know from like literally the core of who you are that this thing is true. There are other things that maybe not in the core of your being yet, but maybe just trickling down literally your temple. You're like, I think this is true. Maybe you're not fully ready to sit with it. Maybe you can't even fully articulate it into words. But we all have things that are we all know what the truth feels like in our bodies. And so whether we feel that in a big, obvious, full body yes kind of way, or a slow, tentative, oh my gosh, is that really true? Like almost questioning kind of way, you know what the truth is like. And different topics, different subjects, and at different times are going to resonate with different layers of your truth telling and truth receiving and truth holding mechanism. So I might be really, really honest in one area, and then I might struggle in another area, and that's life. But if you're my people, you're a person who needs to be in spaces that lean closer towards a true thing. And that if you are in a space that's leaning towards a thing that's not true, that it hurts you. Yes, the truth can hurt very much as well, but there's something about it that is right. And when you know that you are sitting in something that is right, there is something within that that is healing. I heard the phrase today that hurt people, but healed people healed people. Healed people heal people. It's blowing my mind, but if you're my people, you are constantly practicing your truth-telling muscle. You are always practicing. It's a muscle. It can atrophy. Abso-fucking-lutely. That bitch can atrophy. Have you ever met somebody and, oh, random, you know what just popped into my head? If you wanna be somebody, if you wanna go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. But I'm thinking of it like not from the Sister Act. I'm thinking about it from when Issa Rae made fun of it in The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl, like pre-Insecure, like when it was still a web series and she had the short natural hair. Random. That was so funny. Shout out to that. Yeah. Also shout out to Sister Act. What a bop. That's so funny. Where was I? Maybe I finished that point. The last thing I want to say, or the next thing rather, is that like, if you're my people, you love a shenanigan. You're down for a shenanigan. You're down to have fun. You can make the play that's about the super hard thing. And because you tell the truth about the super hard thing, when the joke naturally emerges in the room, naturally emerges, not as a means or a mechanism to deflect from the truth or avoid the truth. I'm not saying that we can't be human, but I'm trying to describe the mechanism. I'm trying to articulate the difference between like, here's a joke that's coming to break the tension versus here's a joke that's sort of coming naturally because we've navigated that tension together and the lightness is natural. Does that make sense? I hope that that makes sense. You're able to hold the hard things, even though they're so hard. And you're also able to hold the joy and the pleasure because you really can't have one without the other. And I'm not saying that you have to hold them gracefully, graciously all the time, but that there's something inherent in you in that you are able to go to difficult places and allow yourself to really go there. And that's hard, but you're also still silly enough and hopeful enough and naive enough to like, I don't know, believe in love in whatever form and to be able to like enjoy the laugh. When the laugh comes for you and it's real for you, that you're able to enjoy, like, I want to have fun. Like when I was working on Our Father, Sons, Lovers, and Little Brothers with my soul sister, DM, such a difficult play, subject matter that means a lot to us, exploring every day the murder, the unnecessary murder of a Black child. That's not funny, but the room that we created and the truth and honesty that we were able to really hold ourselves in exploring, not just because it was important to just us and our souls and I think how we walk through the world. Hi Donna, if you're watching, I love you so fucking much. But like also just like so that we could hold that properly and be able to provide a deep, nuanced, and respectful offering to an audience. There was so much laughter in that room. There was so much joy in that room. There were so many shenanigans. And that all those shenanigans were not distracting from the work, but they were actually like, I kind of think of it as like the spirit giving us permission and like reminders to laugh and enjoy, to help create space so that we could go to the harder places. And in creating this piece, which, you know, we talk about the idea that Black lives matter, that Black life matters, and that like that we, as we are creating this show that was about this young boy whose death launched a political movement or a different wave of an existing political movement, I'll say, that like we are also the Black lives we were fighting for. So yes to the humor, yes to the joy, and yes to every single part of that. Like if you're my people, you understand the gamut. If you're my people, every time there's an eclipse, bitch, you're like, wow. Or I'll say it in a different way. Like if you're my people, you can feel all the different feelings. And I'm not saying you need to express them like me. That's not what I'm saying, and that's not what I need. I don't need a million me's in a room, but I'm articulating in this video like the things that feel the most important. Yeah. If you're my people, you understand that the process is the product. If you're my people, you understand that it has to feel right in the room, because whatever energy, the truth of the energy we created in the room is going to resonate when we get on stage or when we get on screen. If you're my people, you understand fundamentally that, yes, of course, like production value is going to make things look great. And like if you have shiny actors and whatever things that are impressive within the piece, like that could really delight an audience. But you understand that like that our definition of success is not necessarily always measured by how many bums are in the seats. Our definition of success is measured by, number one, did we all manage to come together with a common intention and a common goal? Can we all articulate that with love, compassion, challenge, and clarity? Number two, are we able to create a space in the room where everyone is safe and heard? And this is hard work. This is hard work. It's not easy, but were we able to do that together in the room? Do people feel like they could show up with the full intelligence of themselves, of every single year of life that they've lived, of their ancestry? Like, did we create the space for that in the way that we spoke to each other and worked with each other? Did we let the best idea win? Do we feel safe, comfortable, at ease, and on the same page about doing the work? So that by the time we're in performance, let's say if we're doing theater, the energy of the actors on the stage, that is what resonates actually further than even the words on the page of the script. This is what a lot of people do not understand. But if you're my people, you fucking understand this. Let's talk about it. Kindred, let's talk. If you're my people, there is a part of you that understands that regardless of whether we are on stage, let's go there. Regardless of whether we're on stage doing a Christmas carol, a Chekhov, a Wole Soyinka, an improv show, that there's something about energetically what the audience receives from the ensemble on stage, and the way that that offering vibrates is actually the thing that goes into the world. Sometimes the actual story is not as important as what we think it is. It's actually about how was our energy able to change the cells of the people who were sitting in that audience, and how are they gonna leave that space? That there is a magic to whether I am playing Trayvon or Celia or a rock, I don't know. That like, if I can find a way to truth tell and just be within that it'll do something to an audience member that'll allow them to leave that theater and truth tell. Like, of course, especially with a lot of the work that I do want people to leave Our Fathers, Sons, Lovers, and Little Brothers thinking about, sure, the overall political landscape that we live in, sure. But actually more than that, what I want them to leave with is like feeling that like there's something in their cells that changed. Yeah, if you're like, oh, I need to go and email my MP, like that's dope. But also it's more just about like to let that actually receive and land. Let's say it manifests in you being kinder to the cashier at the supermarket, that you're present, that you've seen a story that made you feel empathy for your fellow human being, your neighbor, and you walked into this supermarket or this corner store that you go into all the time, and you said the right thing at the right time to that cashier who you didn't even know needed to hear it. And like the most dramatic example of this, or storytelling wise, is that I've heard stories of like, oh, this person came into this restaurant and I served them and they were so nice to me that like it stopped me from going home and harming myself. You just never know. You just never know how your energy and your words are affecting somebody. And I do think that theater's superpower and theater's urgency, when it is done correctly, not just theater, but stories, when they are done correctly, is that we leave feeling more connected to ourselves, that we leave feeling more connected to others, and that it helps us see each other and be with each other better. And I think it makes the world a better place. Sometimes it's not necessarily about taking the actual issue and the message of specifically what was the political point of this show, what was the, you know what I mean? Like sometimes it is that, and that's beautiful, but sometimes it's just like that we're just breathing deeper and that we're more present with each other. And if you're my people, You are tapped into that magic. You understand that the definition of success is not necessarily, oh, the numbers, the actual numbers, the 3D numbers of like, this is how many people bought tickets to see the show. This is how many people streamed this film when it was on whatever streaming platform. Although those metrics can be part, obviously, of how we measure success, but that is one slice of a pie. And that like sometimes the most important parts of that pie actually can't fully be measured by us in terms of like, they can't fully be measured by us in terms of those metrics. It's actually about trusting the energy of like when you're, I don't know, when I'm in Toronto, I'm on the streetcar, or I end up speaking to someone and they ask me if I was in a show 2 years ago or however much time ago, and they tell me that they're still thinking about that show. How do you measure that? That's one ticket that person bought. That's one ticket that they bought. But that person, 2 years, 3 years later, is still thinking of it. They remembered me so much from a theater play where they saw me from 50 feet away that they came and found me in public to say, hey, that meant a lot to me. I still think about it. You can't measure that in streams. You can't measure that in ticket sales. You can't measure, like, I only think that we're really going to be able to see the full extent of that kind of impact. Literally, if you believe that it works like this, which I am choosing to, when we die, we go back to the spirit world and we look back at the movie and be like, wow, these are all the things and people and places that work touched. And that it's not fully our business to know all of that. But like, if you're my people, you understand that that is actually the most important part of the impact. And that, of course I want full houses all the time. Of course I want a bazillion streams, duh. But if you are my people, you understand that the most important thing is that we do our best to be of the right vibration when we make the work. We put it out there and then we allow the work to meet who it is it was always trying to meet. And we understand that like we're not going to get to know all of that. And we understand and appreciate that if the house that we are in is only 40% full, we trust that the people who are going to have that experience with that play are in the house. This one can be hard, but if you're my people, you know that deep down. Because we could have 100% house, we could have a full house of people, right? House is in the audience, right? And let's say 30 of those people are gonna have a really connected aha soul experience, whether they clock it as that or not, whether it's a like sort of like an aggressive, like, oh my gosh, like, you know, and sometimes when you finish a movie or an album, you're like, oh, I'll never be the same. And then there's other times where you don't really know it's affected you, but you're just kind of like, it's just sort of like resonating slowly. Let's say 30 of those people in a 100-seat house, let's say, are going to have that experience. If you're my people, there is a part of you that understands and trusts that if 40 people come, we might not be reaching the goal in terms of the money metric and like we wanted 100 people in here, but we understand that it's quite possible if we've done our work right that we are reaching the spiritual metric, which is that we needed the right 30 people in there because that was part of the assignment of that project. That is its own soul. That is who it came to touch and affect. And so we might still be reaching that intention. Not might, but we are. And that we trust. We trust in the way that I would imagine a parent feels as they're raising a child, that it is their responsibility to birth and nurture this thing. And then there's a certain point in which that thing gets to go and be its own thing. If you're my people, I think you understand that. If you're my people, you're ready to ask questions. You're ready to receive questions. You're ready to really talk and really exchange ideas. I'm not talking about being in yelling matches or arguments because I don't love that for anyone, but like we are able to really express and use the best of our brains and the best of our ideas and the best of our instincts together so that the best thing can emerge. If you're my people, you've been like maybe kind of like waiting for a sign. You've been like waiting for like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I'm just craving the next thing or the next project or the next, like I'm just craving this piece of information. If you're my people, there's something that you've been craving that like this video is the answer to. It might be that like you yourself who is watching right now, you're my actual next collaborator. And if so, let's meet and see if there's a vibe and a resonance. And if there's a project that is choosing you and choosing me at the same time, and it's wanting to bring us together so that we can make it, that might be the meaning and why you were attracted to this video. Or if not, it might just be an invitation for you to think about who your people are. Maybe you have some things that are in resonance with what I need as the next like non-negotiables of like, if we're working together, you need to understand these things. Maybe there's some resonance in there for you, or maybe you just wanted to come and listen to me talk because I'm a fine girl. Maybe that's the reason. Hey, I don't know your business. I think I've said everything I need to say. Thanks for sticking with me. I have a nagging suspicion that my microphone died and I'm still holding it. And it's just the iPhone recording this now. So I'm gonna go think about that, think about my life and choices. Thanks for hanging out with me. Wishing you all the very best this month. Wishing you all the very best. Wishing you all the truth and all the self-care, all the vibes, all the rainbows, all the rage, if that's real for you, whatever it is that is true for you in this moment. I invite it and I honor it, and I hope that you can honor it too and sit in it and allow it to take you to the next thing that it needs to take you to. Bye.